Well, hi there, everybody, and good Monday morning to you. What a difference a week makes. Last week it was very chilly, felt like early spring or fall at times. This week's going to feel a lot more like spring and summer out there with much warmer conditions and chances of thunderstorms really picking up towards the end of the week. Now, this morning, mild conditions, a lot of cloud cover around this morning. We even have some exiting showers and storms in northeastern Nebraska. A bit on the breezy side, and those winds will be breezy, but not as bad as yesterday, and it will be quite warm. Probably for many of us, the warmest day we'll see this week, as temperatures will push into the 80s and even some 90s down in northern portions of Kansas. I think for most of us it will be a dry day, and those clouds will be clearing out pretty quickly here over the next couple of hours. Notice the storms out towards western Nebraska this evening and during the overnight hours tonight. Very isolated activity expected to develop out west and try to push into central Nebraska. The environment more favorable for those storms out west. But if they do push into central Nebraska, they would be entering an environment that would be conducive of at least some severe weather, including the threat of maybe some large hail. That threat will continue late tonight and into tomorrow morning. Most of us, though, will miss out, as will be the case here really the next 2 to 2.5 days. Mild conditions overnight tonight. Tomorrow should be dry for most of us. Warm, breezy conditions. Again, that's Futurecast showing some showers around the area. I think most of us will remain dry Tuesday during the daytime hours. Warm, breezy again, but not as warm as your Monday. I think behind that frontal boundary that passes through later today and into tonight, we will see some slightly cooler conditions, but it will still be plenty warm with temperatures in the 70s and 80s for your Tuesday. And then Tuesday night, I think we'll throw in an isolated storm chance for the area. So the Storm Prediction Center has thrown in a slight risk of severe weather in the yellow shaded areas from around Broken Bow back towards North Platte, Ogallala, Thedford, towards Scotts Bluff and Alliance. Again, this would be very isolated activity that would form, but if it does form, severe weather is a possibility. And as I mentioned, I think large hail holds the biggest threat with any storms that would develop. A very low tornado and damaging wind threat with these storms. As for that threat, again, as you can see here, I guess I just said that, but here you can actually see it. I mentioned the best chance of storms, and this would be mainly tonight, or the best chance of any severe weather. The biggest threat would probably be large hail with any storms that would develop. Now let's go to temperatures for today, as we see a pretty good range today. Upper 70s, lower, possibly mid 80s up towards the north. Partly cloudy skies, winds about 5 to 15 miles per hour as they turn out of the northwest later on behind that front. Same story with the winds out towards the west, but a little bit warmer out there, mid to upper 80s and lower 90s, mostly sunny skies. We'll see decreasing clouds in south central Nebraska, north central Kansas pretty early in the morning here. Winds about 10 to 20 miles per hour. We're looking at those temperatures in the upper 80s around the Tri-Cities, and then low and mid 90s down in northern Kansas, mainly 80s to near 90 degrees out towards the east. Winds a little bit stronger in the east at 15 to 25 miles per hour, also seeing decreasing clouds through the morning hours into the afternoon. So your extended forecast won't be as warm the rest of these next 7 days, at least for most of us. And temperature-wise, I generally have upper 70s and lower 80s. Now here the next couple of days, the storm chances very small, very isolated, but they are there, especially during the nighttime hours. But as we get towards Wednesday night, that's when I expect better storm chances to start moving into the area, a little bit better environment for more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. Wednesday night off and on all the way through the daytime hours and even into Sunday night. Now temperature-wise, those temps will be very dependent on where exactly we would see any kind of showers and thunderstorms. So yeah, take those 70s and 80s with a grain of salt. You'd see cooler conditions, 70s if you had some thunderstorms in the area much of your day. If you don't see much activity at all, you'd be talking about more in the way of highs in the lower 80s. As for the overnight lows, 50s and 60s, we're talking about much warmer overnight lows. No more threat of frost or freezing conditions until probably next fall, the way things are looking right now. As for your severe weather threat this week, there is going to be, of course, a chance of some severe weather. That's always the case when you get to this time of the year when you have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. As for widespread organized activity, I don't see that happening. This is more of a pattern comparative of July and August in typical years here over the next upcoming week. That means not a lot of jet stream help with these thunderstorms, which helps to drive the better, more organized chances of severe weather. So again, I do expect maybe some isolated severe weather through the 7-day forecast here. I do not expect any kind of big severe weather outbreaks though with anything that develops here over the next 7 days. So again, that's your forecast. Big changes compared to what we had last week. I think welcome changes. Hopefully for those of you that missed out on any rain so far this spring, you can pick up some good rains later this week. And of course, I know some of you had a little too much rain a week ago, so you could likely use a little bit more drying. So maybe hopefully you'll miss out on some of this precipitation, but there is good chances of rain here heading later into the forecast. So that is your forecast for today and the week to come. Until next time, I'm meteorologist Travis Klineski, and I hope you have a great start to the week.